In this video, I'm going to show you the correct way to rename a simulation project. So I have a sample simulation project here called Create Purchasing Vendor. First thing to notice is that I've got 4 modes available for this: demo, practice, test, and concurrent. And each of those modes has a name of creating purchasing vendor, brackets vgen close brackets, and then the mode name. It basically takes a simulation name and then appends the mode on this. So if I go and play this back, this is what it looks like. The playback buttons just have the mode name on them, so demo, practice, test, and concurrent. They don't include the simulation name, even though that's shown in Producer. Instead, the simulation name is shown here, so we don't need it on the buttons. Now, I want to rename this simulation, and you might think that the logical place to do that is here in the name property of that simulation. It's not, and I'll show you why. Say I want to rename this to creating a purchasing vendor. So I'll change this. So I've changed that there. And I've changed it here, but it has not changed any of the mode names. They're still using the old name for the simulation. That's because I changed it here. And as soon as I change it here, it's effectively breaking the link between the simulation name and the mode names. And why that's a problem is if I save this now, and then replay it, what I now see is this. All the mode buttons have got the full simulation name on them followed by the mode. And this is ugly and really not what we want. Now, I know that a lot of people end up seeing this and are wondering why their buttons are looking like this. And that's because they were renamed in the wrong way. So now let's look at how we can rename them the correct way. One of the problems we've got is that these modes here, now we've broken that link between the simulation name and the mode names. The mode names will always be wrong. Even if I rename the simulation again now, it's not going to automatically update those mode names. So first of all, I'll change the simulation name the correct way, and then we'll look at how we can fix those mode names. So the best way to rename a simulation is from here in the structure. Either press F2, which is the standard Windows command for rename, or right-click, select rename from here. Here you can see the shortcut F2. So I'll select rename, and here, just to make sure that we know what we're looking at, I'm just going to take this bit off the end. So it just says creating a purchasing vendor. Click OK. That's now been renamed the correct way. But these again have still not been renamed because we've still broken that link. So how do we get that link back? Unfortunately, the only way you can do it is to delete these modes and then recreate them. So I'm going to delete them all here and then recreate them. And the way I can recreate them, there's 2 ways of doing that. The absolute easiest, if you're doing it simulation by simulation, is just to go into Edit, save it. As soon as you save it, it's going to recreate those modes. So when I come back here, I've now got those modes. And they're renamed properly so that it does put the simulation name on here, but it doesn't put them on the buttons. Again, I'll save to server. And then play that back. And now my buttons are correct again, because again, I've got that link. So last thing I'll show you, I'll do it the other way now. I'll say that I want something, I want to call this creating a new purchasing vendor. Now, as soon as I do that, it doesn't look like it's changed anything there, but by save to server, play that back again, it's still only showing these. And if I go back to Producer, I'll see that it has actually renamed those. Sometimes it just takes a little while to catch up, but it does do. Now let's look at the second way that I said that you can recreate these. If I go and delete them all again, say they're wrong, and I want to recreate them, I can go to menu option work area, generate all content, select the subtree, which in this case is the simulation, basically whatever I have selected and everything under it. Make sure project modes is selected, don't need the other one selected, click OK. And that will also generate those modes. And again, it will keep that connection between the simulation name and the modes in here. So if I play that back, again, the buttons only have the mode names on them and not the full simulation name. So If you ever see this, where you've got the full simulation name on your buttons, go back to Producer, delete the modes, rename the simulation correctly here, and then regenerate those modes. That was it. Hope you found that useful.